Introduction. Before I came here, and now that I'm here. The quote. There's an hour in each person's life appointed to make his happiness, if then he sees it. People actually choose whether they will be happy or unhappy. This might not seem to be clear to you right now, but it's still true. It's how we choose to behave that creates our happiness or unhappiness. You'll see in this program that you'll be sad or unhappy if you choose to be. You can also choose to be happy. Completing this program can actually help you become happy. When you leave this prison or this group of people after completing the program, you'll not be unhappy unless you choose to be. Your life will not always be perfect, but it will be better than it is now. On the other hand, you can choose to be sad while you're here. You can also choose to be angry. You can choose to have a bad attitude, and that's easy to do. When people are placed in a program like this, they sometimes get angry. It's not fair, they say. I shouldn't be here. But whether you like it or not, you are here, so try to make the best of it. Here's a simple fact about this. If you complete the exercises in this book, you will finish the program. Look ahead in the book. See what you have to do. It really isn't all that much. You can do it if you choose to do it. If you want out of the program to be free and clear, the best path is to finish it as quickly as possible. The smart move is to do each step in the program exactly as it's required. You might think, when I have my freedom, I'll be happy. But this probably isn't true unless you learn some important things first. Or you'll probably be like the inmates who leave prison only to come back time and again. One purpose of the program is to keep you from coming back. So that's why we say the smart thing to do is to finish the program. Sometimes it seems like no matter what you do, you're unhappy. It seems like sadness and unhappiness are stuck to you. They're stuck to you like gum on your shoes. You can't get rid of it unless you take the time and effort. You must stop and try to get that gum off. You must get rid of your unhappiness before you can escape and be free from your prison. But unlike the gum, it takes a bit more work to deal with unhappiness itself. The actual causes of unhappiness have to be recognized, and so it is with much of life. It can be hard at times. Changing can take time, especially if you've not been dealing with problems as they happen. What does this mean? One way of looking at life is to imagine it as a garden. Some people carefully plant their garden. They take time and effort every day to weed it, get rid of pests, and water it. When it's carefully maintained, the garden looks good, bears a lot of fruits, and gives its owner pleasure. Of course, a garden can give a lot of other people pleasure as they share it with its owner. When a garden isn't cared for every day, it grows weeds that choke out the good plants. It bears very little fruit. The fruit that does come from it is of poor quality. It also has a lot of pests, destructive bugs, and other creatures that eat off it. Such gardens look bad and actually upset everyone involved with it. Even the gardener who is not tending to his or her garden doesn't like the condition it's in. Sometimes, though, they're too lazy or really just don't know what to do. And the pests in the garden can actually sometimes even threaten life. In truth, if your garden gets so full of dangerous pests that it threatens others, the laws will permit others to enter your garden and control the pests. The owner of such a garden could find himself in a court that makes him or her get control of it. Some people who plant gardens ignore their garden just about every day. They keep putting off dealing with the things they know they should do. But eventually, some get around to trying to clean it up. If they wait too long, it's a lot more work and effort than just doing a little work on it each day. The truth is, if a garden has become full of weeds, removing the weeds may damage the garden, but not dealing with it destroys it. Your life is like a garden. You decide how well it's tended. You decide what fruits come from it. You decide whether you will run from problems or work on them. The garden represents the life that each of us makes for ourselves. Gardens grow little by little and are best cared for every day. That's the way life is. Every day, life requires a little daily care. Learning how to read and write is a good example. You can put off learning how to read and write, but it will never be easier for you to learn to read and write than it is right now. If you haven't tended to your problems, weeds develop in your life. Every garden will develop weeds, and a good gardener knows it. So it is with life. Every life develops problem situations. Weeds are problems. For example, let's say your parents want you to clean up your room, but you keep throwing clothes and other things around your room. Your clothes can be like the weeds. Running from problems does not make them go away. Avoiding them simply makes it harder to deal with later. A weed-infested garden can be cleaned out, but it can take a lot of time and effort. Just like cleaning up a room after weeks of making a mess isn't easy. The weeds in our life are the many things we permit to develop because we don't want to face them. It can, for example, be more pleasurable to listen to music rather than do homework. So over time, the person who chooses to listen to music rather than learn basic things in life will eventually find that his options in life are limited. The simple truth is, the more education you have, the more freedom you will have in life. And it's true that people with higher education usually get the better jobs and make the most money. Relationships are like a garden too. They require some maintenance. Avoiding problems with other people doesn't make the problems go away. Getting angry at others seldom makes the problems you have with them go away. And some people in your life are like pests that are attracted to gardens. Some people get us into trouble and destroy all the good things we have or even can have. You know who these people in your life are. You may not want to admit it to others, but you probably have allowed some negative people in your life. Happy and smart people keep the negative people and dangerous relationships out of their lives. So, here we are. You have a choice to make. We really want you to try to do this program. Actually, we don't want you to try. Trying is for failures. We want you to do it. Don't try, just do it. And the people that run the program you're in want you to complete it too. That's why they're here. They have chosen to help you and others in the same situation as you. Helping others is their chosen career. But what you do here is up to you. You decide what will happen to you. You will face the results, both good and bad, for your choices. You must choose to participate. This workbook is based on the MRT approach. MRT was defined in the instructions, so we won't do it again here. But you should remember that MRT has had a lot of input from people in trouble, serious trouble. Many inmates from all over the country have helped us in putting this program together. They completed it. Many of them have escaped their prisons. Many of them are happy and successful now. So, what about you? The remainder of this book is divided into 12 MRT steps. The final section of the book describes steps 13 to 16, but you don't have to do them here. Each step, 1 through 12, requires that you read a few pages and do some homework prior to coming into group. In group, you will show your homework. You will answer a few questions. You will speak to your group members a few times. You also will ask questions and make comments to other group members when they share their homework in group. That's all there is to it. You might have to think a little. You might have to talk about some things you'd rather avoid. If that's more than you can do, you should probably quit. Just give your book to the program director or your counselor and tell them you'll take whatever comes. Tell them you refuse to even try to change your life. Tell them you choose to remain unhappy and miserable in life. Tell them you've decided to live in prisons. That isn't what you really want to do, but it's a choice, so don't waste their time or yours. Make a commitment. The smart thing to do is to go ahead and do the program. At least act as if you are trying to change. Give it a chance. See where it goes. The entire program is in your hands. Look through it. Read it. There won't be any surprises. If you're willing to give it a shot, then go ahead and fill out the first step and be prepared to show your work in the next group. The MRT Steps to Freedom. You're going to see some new ideas here and do some things that you probably have never done before. You're going to be given a series of steps and tasks. Some of the things required are going to be fun. Some of them will seem like work. If you do these things completely and honestly in their order, you will escape your prison into freedom. If you don't do them, you will remain unchanged and stay in your prison. We're sorry. There's no other way at this point. This is a real opportunity for you to take control of yourself and change in ways that are good for you. The tasks required of you in the remainder of this program include some group discussions, drawing pictures, talks with other members of your group, and some other things. Unless your group facilitator or specific instructions in this book tell you otherwise, you should read and prepare a step prior to your group meetings. As you read a step, complete the drawings or other work it requires. Prepare all of one step's tasks for each group meeting. For example, before your next group meeting, you should read all the pages devoted to step 1 and fill out the exercises required for step 1 before you go to the group. In the group, you will present the exercises you prepared to the other group members. Then, before the next group meeting, read and fill out everything for step 2. Here's a few hints and instructions. 1. You can complete only one step per group session. 2. You must complete all the homework for a step prior to that group. 3. Except for steps 6 and 9, you must work on only one step at a time. 4. You can begin working on steps 6 and 9 at any time. In fact, smart people look ahead and start working on them early. If you have a question about that, ask your group counselor or your facilitator. 5. Group time is used for group members to present the exercises that they prepared outside of group. Have your homework done. 6. If there is time at the end of groups, the group facilitator will make assignments and talk to members individually about their steps. 7. Follow the instructions for each exercise. Don't reinterpret the instructions. 8. When an exercise says draw pictures, you should draw pictures. You may make some written notes to yourself, but when it says draw, you must draw. 9. Participate in groups. Ask questions after testimonies. 10. Ask for help and advice whenever you need it, but don't copy from others. 11. Follow the group rules. Respect others. Don't use any bad language, and be on time. 12. Be cautious about arguing. Listen to criticism. Don't just react to it by denying it.